Hello, welcome back to today's video. Going to have a look at the weather next week's 10 days. This will take us to around the 4th of March. So it's going to cover the final stages of February and the beginning of next month. All eyes on the Scandinavian high. Looks like the beast from the east will be unleashing its cold onto us through the course of next week. There's been no real major backtracks from the model output. Again, I can tell you that before we even get on with the video. I'll put you out of your misery and tell you that there has been no major flops or flips within the model output. So it's all still on course. Little bit different, of course, in terms of the evolution. As we're getting closer to this, the models are able to pick up on sort of shortwave features. So the detail is changing ever so slightly, but the broad picture, which is for high pressure to be in over Scandinavia, the wind to be from the east, bringing bitterly cold air from Siberia, that broad theme hasn't changed. It's still very much there, starting late this weekend and running through next week. The only difference is in the detail in terms of sort of shortwave features. That occasionally might modify cold air a little bit, but might also enhance the risk of snow. So I'll talk you through everything that's going on in a moment. Essentially, we are looking again at really quite a cold and wintry outlook. So begin with a 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from the Penn State University website. We've got the ECMWF here on the top, and the GFS, have a look at it in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet is an area in the absolute high pressure, low pressure, being drowned by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates to high pressure, blue to low pressure. What we see on the ECM chart is a very blocked outlook indeed. Remember, this is for the 7 to 10 day time frame. So initially we're going to have the high pressure over Scandinavia, but we are looking at retrogression of the high pressure. We're going to take that high pressure from Scandinavia just there, and we're going to retrogress it against the zonal flow into the Greenland and Iceland sort of region of the Arctic and Atlantic. So that tells you, when you get retrogression, it always shows that the atmosphere is behaving abnormally, because the normal zonal flow should always be west to east. So if you're getting weather systems going from east to west against the zonal flow, it tells you that something is going very wrong. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say wrong, because it is part of what can happen within the atmosphere, but something unusual is happening with the atmosphere when you get retrogression. So we're going to retrogress a high pressure from Scandinavia, and we're going to set it up over Greenland with that big area of red just there. And then underneath it, we're going to have this deep trough of below average heights down here, with the jet stream as well going on a very southerly track as well. So this cold air is going to come in from the east, and then of course we've got this trough of low pressure to our southwest, and that's going to engage with the cold air, and that might be a real snowmaker as we go through into the 7 to 10 day time frame. So initially with the easterly winds, we're looking at snow showers and troughs banding most snow showers up from the east. Later on, we may start to get some sort of significant area of low pressure developing, engaging with that cold air and producing prolonged spells of heavy snow as we go through the first week of March. Let's have a look at the GFS. It's very similar. So the trough is a little bit further away from us in the 7 to 10 day time frame. It's down there. Then we've got all of the blocking up to the north and the northeast of the country. Round the back of that, we're pulling in this cold air, the trough of low pressure to the south. That's trying to bring milder air up, and there may be some sort of clash and snow event, but certainly the GFS and the ECMWF, although they are differing slightly in the placement of the block and the trough, despite that, they are both seen from the same hymn sheet, really, which is for a very cold and potentially very wintry outlook. These are the GFS ensembles. Next couple of weeks, we're looking at Leicester. Today, I've been asked by someone to have a look at Leicester. By the way, I've got quite a list developing now of places that people want to see. So you will be seeing those showing up in videos in future. But on the top of the list today, it's Leicester. So the red line here there is a 30-year upper air temperature average, and starting off pretty chilly today. It'll be a cold night tonight. Already we might get temperature down to -5 or -6, and that's before we've even brought anything in from the east, really. But it's in the second half of the weekend through to next week, we're still getting this very significant drop in the temperature taking place. The upper air temperatures going down to between -10 and -15. At 850 HPA. Now, through the first week of March, which is this period just here, we are slowly seeing signs of a recovery in the temperature. Although, to be honest, most of these GFS ensemble members are keeping things cold through the first week of March. It's just a few ensemble members, which happens to include the latest operational run of GFS, which I'll show in a moment. Just a few ensemble members that are trying to lift the temperatures up. But essentially, that is I think that's very inconclusive, and many of these ensemble members are keeping things cold. I explained in the video yesterday, I won't go over it today, but I explained in the video yesterday that very often in a block setup, the models will try to reintroduce the westerlies and the mild air to quickly break down the blocking. That could well be what's happening there. I think this first week of March, certainly the first half of the first week of March, which is this period just here, that's going to be cold. The second half of the first week of March and into the second week of March, which is this period just here, that I think is up for grabs, and it is totally possible that it might stay really cold in that period as well, turning into a prolonged cold spell, therefore. So, in terms of precipitation, lots of dry weather coming up through to the weekend. Next week, the precipitation is gradually increasing, and a lot of that will be snow, of course, increasing risks of snow. That's how the surface temperatures are looking for Leicester. So already pretty chilly today, with temperatures only sort of 3 or 4 degrees perhaps at best. Through to the weekend and into next week, those temperatures are lowering, so that by the start of next week, we're struggling to get above freezing. That's 0 degrees just there. That's plus 10 degrees just there. That's -10 down there. And that's plus 20, which we won't be reaching for some time to come. Up there. So again, we've got the decline in the temperature taking place. We're starting there, that the temperatures are lowering as we go through into the start of next week. We're seeing daytime temperatures through much of next week hovering close to freezing. Nights could be going really chilly as well. Down here, and essentially we might start to see the temperature begin to try and lift up a little bit as we get through to that period just there, which is later into the first week of March, the second week of March. But again, notice how many, I'm not sure what's happening with the highlights, so let's just get rid of that and start again. So notice how many cold ensemble members we have down here in this period, which tells us again that many members of these ensembles are keeping it cold, although there are milder options through that last stage of the first week and the second week of March. These up here going up to 10 degrees, but I think it's far too far away and far too inconclusive really to be able to say what's going to happen there. And essentially in the foreseeable future, which is kind of like a week to 10 days, it's looking like it's cold and potentially very wintry as well. Look at those temperature anomalies from the 22nd of February to the 2nd of March, coming out very substantially colder than average for all parts of Europe. I mean, we're talking about temperatures from Central and Eastern Europe, temperature anomalies of around sort of 8 to 10 degrees below average. In the west of Europe, not quite as bad, but even so, 5-6 degrees below average for parts of the UK. Will be a very cold spell of weather setting up indeed. Precipitation anomalies, they're looking drier than average, particularly through central, northern and western parts of Europe as well. So this is how the GFS is looking for Monday, and that's when we're starting to introduce the very coldest of the air from the east. So we have a high pressure area over Scandinavia. That is the so-called beast from the east. It's a 1,050 millibar area of high pressure over Scandinavia, with those easterly winds flooding in across northern Europe into the UK. There's the upper air temperatures for 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday, looking bitterly cold for many northern, central and eastern parts of Europe. It's not as cold in the UK and France at that point, but the cold air is only going in one direction. By the time we go through 6 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, we really are looking very bitterly cold indeed. There's kinks in the isobars as well. Kinks just there, one up there. So that tells you it's an unstable flow that could be bringing troughs in off the Atlantic, banding snow showers together. Upper air temperatures look very cold, bitterly cold by the time you get through to Tuesday. Wednesday also looking a very cold day. The wind remains in from the east during the course of Wednesday, so that's another very cold day indeed. And then we go through to Thursday, looking very cold. The wind is strengthening there, so that's going to be a horrendous wind chill. You have a look at the upper air temperatures. We're bringing the minus 15 Celsius isotherm into some central parts of the country, along with a very cold, or very strong I should say, east-southeast wind. That's probably going to be the coldest feeling of the days next week, and I imagine the wind chill, I've seen charts suggesting wind chill might go down in the UK to somewhere like minus 15 or lower by that point. So that's bone-chillingly cold there with those east to southeasterly winds. The end of next week, there's a little area of low pressure trying to push into the south. That could be bringing some more persistent snow to southern parts of the country. There's the upper air temperature showing that milder air is beginning to return to France. We've got a big temperature gradient over south of the UK. That is, I think, signalling chance of quite substantial snow. That's how we look on day 10, still with low pressure just to our south, winds generally remaining from an east-southeast direction. We're trying to bring up some slightly milder air from the south. We saw it on the ensemble chart that the operation run off the GFS was one of the mildest runs within the ensembles. So not sure the mild air from France will get that far north at all, actually. And then we go into extended range, and look at this. We rebuild, or we tried to rebuild the high pressure over Scandinavia, keep the wind in from the east by the time you get through Saturday the 10th of March. That looks like a prolonged cold spell, I have to say, despite that milder incursion for the south. Generally, I think we're looking at quite a prolonged cold spell through the early part of March. This is how the temperatures are looking on the GFS. So tonight, I did say we are going to get quite a cold night even tonight before we've even introduced this Siberian air. So temperatures tonight could go down to minus 3, minus 4 degrees. Certainly possible, maybe a little bit lower, one or two places. A chilly day tomorrow. Temperatures only 4 or 5 degrees at best for most parts of the country. Another widespread frost tomorrow night. Saturday, again, around 4 or 5 degrees. And then another widespread frost on Saturday night. Not particularly hard, but again, going down to around minus 3, minus 4. Certainly possible. Then Sunday, it's a colder day on Sunday, with many of us getting temperatures of just 2 or 3 degrees. And then from Sunday night onwards, that's when we start to introduce that bitterly cold air from the east. So temperatures could go down. This is suggesting minus 5 or minus 6 possible on Sunday night. It may go a bit lower than that. Then Monday, we've just seen temperatures of 1, 2 or 3 degrees, struggling to get much above freezing. Severe frost possible on Monday night, penetrating frost as well. Temperatures are really struggling then on Tuesday to get above freezing. Another severe frost possible on Tuesday night. This is taking temperature down to minus 10 for parts of Scotland, down to minus 7 for parts of southern England, and penetrating too because of the strength of the wind. That's Wednesday, an ice day for many central and northern parts of the country, with temperatures staying at or below freezing all day. Even in the far south and southwest, we're only going up to 1 or 2 degrees. Another severe frost on Wednesday night. Thursday, it's an ice day pretty much across the whole country. Even on the south coast, we're only getting maximums there of around minus 1 or minus 2. So Thursday, the 1st of March, put it in your diary. That might be the coldest day of this spell. And we saw it on the chart. There's also going to be a very strong easterly wind blowing. So not only will temperatures potentially be below freezing all day, we could have a very severe wind chill as well on Thursday, the 1st of March. Notice most parts of the Republic of Ireland even coming out at or below freezing away from the west. Severe frost, particularly for northern parts of the country on Thursday night. Friday, we just start trying to lift the temperature a little bit above freezing in the south, although for the north, still generally staying at freezing all day. And so we've got a week of really cold weather being signalled there, and that carries on into next weekend. That's all based on the GFS, of course. This is how the ECM WF is looking. So again, the high pressure setting itself up on Sunday to Monday. Here comes the easterly wind. Tuesday, that's interesting. We've got some sort of disturbance in the North Sea with that kink in the isobars just there. That could be a more persistent area of snow heading into the east off the North Sea. There's the upper air temperatures looking very, very cold on Monday night into Tuesday. Wednesday, very bitter easterly wind. If you follow the isobars back, look where the air originates from. The air is originating from over there, and it's even originating up there, really. And that's true Siberian air. That air is coming down and then across Europe like that. So that's a very, very long fetch easterly wind. Indeed, upper air temperatures looking very cold indeed across the country. That continues into Thursday, the 1st of March as well. Bitterly cold easterly winds remain with us, but minus 15 Celsius isotherm. That's the minus 10 isotherm. That's out in the Atlantic. Minus 15 Celsius isotherm is just there. That's pushing in across England and Wales in particular. Even a little bit lower than minus 15 at 850 HPA for East Anglia and South East England. I think the upper air temperatures there probably going down to minus 16 or minus 17 at 850 HPA. That's the reason for the ice day and the severe wind chill as well. That is Friday. Low pressure again to our south. Winds remain locked in to the north. Maybe go through to next weekend, and low pressure is starting to push up from the south. That's bringing higher upper air temperatures, although they're not warm, but it's also bringing the risk of very significant and substantial snow through that first week of March. So initially we have snow showers with those bitterly cold easy winds, but then we end up with low pressure very close to the country, potentially bringing a lot of persistent and heavy snow to many of us. That's for GEM, the high pressure blocking things out over Scandinavia over weekend and start of next week. The easy winds continue strengthen through the course of next week. Isobars looking really a lot of kinks in them. So again, the suggestion that there could be enhanced areas of snow within the cold air as well. There's the upper air temperatures for Thursday, the 1st of March. Severely cold, really, across eastern parts of the country, and very cold elsewhere. And then these really cold upper air temperatures continue through into Friday the 2nd of March. Again, look at those temperatures across many northern central west parts of Europe, and then through the weekend of the 3rd and the 4th of March it just remains very cold and very wintry. We don't get bad areas of low pressure forming over the top of the country, but even so, remaining very cold. These are the ECMWF ensembles for DeBuilt. They're heading into the freezer. This is where we're starting off that right now, but look what happens into the weekend and then through into next week. The temperatures are declining. That's minus 5 there. So by the middle of next week, the maximum temperature in DeBuilt in Holland is starting to get all that much above minus 5. And then we gradually start to lift those temperatures up more as we go through into the 2nd week of March at Pages here. But you'll notice, similar to the GFS ensembles, lots of scatter is in there, with many ensemble members still keeping things really cold through that through the 2nd week of March. Haven't talked much about snow with this yet. I just want to show you the ECMWF snow depth forecast for next week. From the website weather.us. You can find a link to weather.us on the links page. So just bear in mind with this, it does overestimate snow depth. It assumes that every single snowflake that falls lays on the ground, and we know it's not that simple with snow, but it gives you an idea of the areas that are likely to get snow and how widespread snow could be on any given day. So we're starting on Monday, not much, a little bit in the east. We go through into, let's go through to Tuesday. So then we find these are snow showers coming into the east on those bitterly cold east winds, probably longer spells of snow for particularly eastern parts of England. That's Wednesday, and things have got much more widespread through Tuesday to Wednesday, with many places having at least some sort of covering of snow by the middle part of next week. Let's go on another day to Thursday. Again, snow cover gets a little bit more widespread. Notice particularly that these eastern coasts, it's piling up, and down in the southeast of England, really piling up there. But many places by Thursday have got at least some sort of covering of snow from those snow showers, probably banding into longer spells of snow. By Friday, the snow depth getting more widespread again. So throughout next week, the snow risks become more widespread. And then we go into the weekend, and look at that. Suddenly, we have got very deep snow across many parts of the country by Saturday. That's that area of low pressure that I showed you. And we keep really deep snow cover going then through the weekend. The depths that it's going to there, I mean, in inches, it's going to around, say, 12 to 20 inches, 8 to 20 inches, I should say, across many parts of the country of snow. Bear in mind, that is going to be a bit over top because there won't be that much snow laying on the ground. But it does give you the idea that through the course of next week, the chance of snow is getting more and more widespread. So we could finish up with actually quite a lot of snow across many parts of the country by the end of next week. This is looking like a very notable spell of not only cold, but also snowy weather that could be on its way next week. And obviously we'll be keeping you updated. I expect to start seeing snow watches appearing at some point over the weekend, I'd have thought. So a lot going on, but the main message is it's all still on course. The beasts from the east will be unleashed next week and turn very cold, bitterly cold. Expect severe night frost, expect ice days, especially later on in the week. And I reckon there'll be a fair amount of snow around at times as well. And we'll do an update this evening looking at the midday runs, of course, bring you up to date with all the developments with midday runs of models. But at just over nearly 22 minutes, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.